Judge Judy. Diane Wofford says ex-boyfriend Ron Cox stole her belongings when he moved out of their apartment. Ron says Diane stole his truck.
Do you have a car?
Yes, I do.
What kind of car do you have?
I have the Toyota pickup and I have a Chevy.
No! What kind of car do you have?
I have a Chevy Cavalier that is
all right. Now, what year car is it?
It's a 90 Chevy Cavalier.
The time that the truck was purchased, were you driving the Chevy Cavalier?
Yes.
And what was Mr. Cox driving?
He wasn't driving anything at the time because he doesn't have a driver's license.
Okay. Bird, would you get me the title, please?
Can we talk about the restraining order he broke?
No.
Okay. Can we talk about his alcoholism?
You could talk about that with your children, but I'm not interested in it. I'm just interested in getting this.
Sorry.
I'm just interested in, right now, the truck. Oh, okay. I see that this truck was purchased in two people's names. Is that right?
I purchased...
Is that right?
It is at the time, yeah.
All right. Now, Mr. Wofford, let me explain to you something, sir. While there is no equitable distribution or community property involved in people living together, when people choose stupidly to live together for 7 years or 5 years without benefit of marriage, I'm going to take the easiest way out for a court in determining who owns property. And as far as I'm concerned, this property is owned 50-50. Do you understand? You chose, for whatever reason, to put her name on the title.
I made that mistake.
You made a mistake. If you made a mistake, why should I have to suffer for it by extending this case any longer than I have to? Now, you paid $700 for the truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right?
Correct.
Very good. Now, Miss Wofford, are you driving this pickup now?
Yes, I am.
What happened to your Chevy?
It's broken. This
So you're driving it?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, correct.
And do you drive it to work?
Yes, I do.
And I assume you want to keep it?
Yes, I do.
Very good. Then you will pay him on his counterclaim,
Okay.
$350. Your claim is dismissed. On the counterclaim, I'm awarding you $350, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Sign over the title.
What about all my stuff? What about my personal belongings that he has taken out of my home?
Sign over the title. Do we have a pen?
Your Honor, may I say something?
No.
Ma'am, what about the...
No. You're getting a truck, Miss Wofford, that in all probability you had nothing to do with paying for, and you're getting it at a bargain price. Do you understand?
I guess.
Do you understand? Worth at least as much as the fishing pole you say that he took, and that somebody's skis that... Did you sign it, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Now, Bird, would you hand that over to Miss Wofford? And then, Bird, would you do me the last favor? Sure. Would you show them out?
Please excuse, you may step out.
This man came into my home, ripped me off. I have a restraining order about his alcoholism problems this man has had.
A whole relationship was abusive, both physically and mentally.
He's a nothing. He's a no good. He'll always be a no good.
22-year-old cashier Jamie Walker is suing his former roommate, 19-year-old cashier Josie Noble, for the return of his belongings and for defamation of character. Josie is countersuing for unpaid rent and bills.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 1 on the calendar in the matter of Walker versus Noble. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats.
Mr. Walker, you and the defendant leased an apartment together. Is your claim that the defendant locked you out, she kept some of your property, and in addition, she showed around a private letter which caused you embarrassment?
Yeah.
The defendant says that you, in fact, broke the lease to the apartment. She is countersuing for your share of 4 months' rent. She said that she did not lock you out of the apartment. So when did you sign this lease?
It was September 22nd of 2001.
And how did you know the defendant?
I used to work with her, and we were friends.
So tell me when this problem started, around Christmas time?
It was around Christmas time, December 21st of 2001. I had received a phone call, 3 o'clock in the morning, from my mother, stating that she was sick, and that she wanted me to come down there to be with her.
Where does she live?
She lives in Virginia.
Where is this apartment that you were living in?
It's in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
The only thing I took with me was my clothes. A few days later, my mom got better, so I was going to come home, and I received a phone call from Josie stating that I am no longer allowed in the house because she thought I moved out.
How many days later?
It had to have been like 4 or 5.
In the month of December?
In the month of December.
No.
Okay. Had you paid your share of December's rent?
Yes, I was paid up until January.
None of that is true at
Just
all.
a second, I'm going to get to you in a minute. All right, how much was rent?
It was $240. I paid $240 a month.
Josie, give me your version of what happened.
Let's see, December 20th, I spoke to him on the phone, and I asked him if he had his share of the rent money. And the whole month, I was letting him go, just giving me $40 a week, and we'll just take it up from there, and he'd make it up to me at the end of the month. And when I talked to him, he said that he spent his share on presents. And I never once said that he could never come back to the apartment.
Let's just get, you're getting ahead of yourself. You're getting ahead of yourself. Now, what happened? He said he left December 21st. What happened?
He left in the night. I never heard a phone ring at 3 a.m. I would have woken up. He would have woken up.
Well, who's he?
He is my my ex-boyfriend. He was there at the time.
Okay, I don't care whether you heard a phone or you didn't hear a phone. You woke up December 21st, and
I woke up. Well, he woke up to go wake Jamie up to go to work, and he found this note that Jamie left.
Can I see it, please? Did you write this letter?
No, I did not. That is not my writing.
Oh my God.
I have very sloppy writing. That is not my writing.
Do you have any other writing of the?
I have the
plaintiffs?
copy of the lease that he signed, and I don't know about that.
Well, but he's printing this.
There should be a signature one right above my
I see.
signature.
Oh, I see. Yes, you're right. I think you wrote this.
I did not write it.
I think you wrote this, Mr. Walker. I'm just looking at the way you not only signed your name here, but printed it on your lease. It's exactly the same as the printing on this. Yes, it is. Okay. So you left.
Yes.
What items do you claim that Miss Noble kept of yours?
Well, she has a computer.
Well, you wrote here the computer is yours, too. You can have my last paycheck. Give this to Dawn as proof. And you also wrote the computer is yours, too.
I did not give her the computer.
Well, that's what you wrote, sir.
But I didn't write that, I'm saying.
Oh, I think you did.
Well, she has a desk of mine, too. A bed. She has some books, CDs.
And when did you try to get back into the apartment, Mr. Walker?
It was right after I got back.
Okay. And you're on the lease?
Yes, I am.
Then you should have been let back into the apartment. Did you go to the police?
No, I didn't know I
not?
could.
Of course you did. If you have a lease to an apartment, you're on the lease.
The landlord wouldn't let me back in there either.
No, you go to the police. Put your hand down. I didn't ask for you. You know that you can go to the police if you're locked out of your apartment. Come.
And they had the locks changed, too.
So what? The police go, they knock at the door, they say he has a lease to the apartment, he has the absolute right to be here, to the apartment. You were ready to go home in a couple of days. You go home. So I don't believe you, sir.
He didn't go to Virginia. I have a receipt from my cousin who sent him money while he was in York, PA. I
don't care where he went. I don't believe him. You want to tell me the second part of your lawsuit, sir? Second part of your lawsuit is about a letter.
Yes. Miss Noble had gone through my room with all my stuff, and she had found a personal letter of mine, and she had given it to one of our co-workers, and in which in turn that co-worker had took that letter and spread it around work and customers too.
Tell me about that letter.
After he left that note, we waited a little while. He cleaned out the room, Jamie's room, and we found this little red binder that said, "Don't go through it." So we're going to go through it.
Of course.
And he found the letter, handed it to me, I read it, got a kick out of it, and the girl that I showed, he was going around saying that he slept with her, telling nasty stories about her, and it's like, she wasn't my best friend, but she was like a coworker, and it's affecting her reputation. So we invited her over, we showed her the letter, she said, "Can I keep it?" And I didn't care. And she kept it, gave it back, I don't know what I did.
That's why, Mr. Walker, if you honestly wanted to get back into your apartment, and I don't know where you went, because you had valuable things in there, things that you didn't want shown around, that's why you go to the police and you get all your stuff. When for the first time did you decide to get back your stuff?
It was right after I got back.
No.
Which was what month?
December.
In December? So what did you do?
I called her and
So
I
what
said,
did you do? Did you go to court in December? Did you go to court in January or February? What'd you do?
No, I waited because
Why?
she said she was going to take me to court first. And I never got anything back, so I filed
Why
the
should
case.
you... Listen to me,
Because she said she was going to.
Mr. Walker. You're not an unintelligent person, are you?
No.
You locked out of your apartment, you go to the police, you say, I have to get my stuff, my computer, my private
He was
stuff. I
never
went
locked out.
away in the middle of the night to help take care of my ailing mother.
He was never locked out. I didn't get the locks changed until about a month ago.
Not even,
and
not even like
what,
2 weeks ago.
What happened was he left a note in my mailbox telling me to call him on a cell phone number. And I told him, why don't you just give me like $500 and I won't go to the cops and I won't go do all this stuff so I can get the rest of my money back because I really wanted to avoid this.
May I say something to that?
Who are you?
I'm Sarah, Jamie's friend. He's staying with me at the current moment.
Sure.
On the date that Miss Noble is talking about, when she had called, it is my cellular phone. She was really rude to me, ranting and raving about different things, saying that she was going to harm Jamie and that she was going to have
What did
people
she
after
say
him.
she wanted?
She wanted to talk to him. She wanted to talk to him now, and I said, well, he's unavailable at this moment. He had called her back, and they had talked about it for a couple hours, and
I was at work for a
I'm
couple
sorry,
hours.
it was like an hour, approximately an hour.
Yes.
They had worked out to where she had said that he could not come get his things. She had also called me before on my cellular phone telling me that, wondering where he was at, and told me that he was not allowed to get his things and that they were hers now.
That
Right?
was not what was said
Could I
on
say
the phone
something?
at all. At all. I called there and
Whatever. I don't know what this letter said. I don't have this letter, unless somebody has a copy of the letter. Do you have
I
a
have
copy of the
proof
letter?
that it was about, what it entailed.
And it was left in your house.
It was left in the apartment, yes.
Right. Which I find that you left.
But that doesn't give her the right to spread it around work.
No, no,
That's
no.
my personal information.
May I say something?
I
now?
showed a girl that you lied about.
You
Yeah,
may
she
not.
works for
It
them.
doesn't lend anything. Neither did her statement lend anything, but I thought maybe it might.
I was there a lot, like around through everything that happened, so.
Spare me, would you please? He is suing for the following: for the return of his property. What personal property? A computer?
A computer.
A desk?
A desk. A
You have his
bed.
desk?
He doesn't have a desk. All there was a little nightstand thing.
It's a stand.
And a bed. And a couple books were left.
Fine. Where are those things?
The stand is still in the apartment, the bed is still in the apartment, and the books are still there.
Great.
I have my
Great.
videos too, and my CDs.
What about his movies?
There
and CDs?
are no CDs. There's probably like 2 movies I think I still might have, but
15.
no CDs. Not in,
Okay. So what I'd like you to do is get the boyfriend to help you pack up his bed, his little nightstand, his books, and his videos. Pack them up. Put them out on the front of the house 5 days from today's date. He has 3 hours, from 12 to 3. If you're not there between 12 and 3 to get your bed, your nightstand, your books, and your videos, she has the right to get rid of them. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now let's get to the issue of the rent.
Okay.
You left the premises, and I find that you had no reason to leave the premises. Even if she locked you out, you had the right to get back in there, and I don't find that she locked you out of the residence. So from the time you left in December until the time she found a roommate, you are responsible for half your rent.
Can I say something on that?
Yes.
Her ex-boyfriend now, he was living with us from the time that he moved, or that we moved into the apartment, until the time that I left. And after that, I know he was still staying there, as I know of.
When you moved in September, was he living there?
Yes.
So that you knew he was living there.
Yes.
So
But
that was your arrangement in September. He didn't move in afterwards, right?
Right.
So stop complaining. You have to pay until she. Who was your new roommate?
she just recently moved out. She was my cousin's cousin.
And how many months did she live there?
4 months.
When did she move in?
Or 3 months.
When did she move in? I don't need her name.
March.
So the month of January and February, is that right? He wasn't there, and then you had a roommate in March. Is that
No.
right?
Because he was gone for 4 months before I got her to move in.
Doesn't sound right. $480 is what you owe her. Do you understand?
yes.
However, we're holding the $480. until you get your property, which is going to be on the order. Do you understand?
I think she might have only been there for 2 months or...
Fine.
So
that's still only 2 months. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. I don't care whether you agree with it or not. Do you understand it? That's all.
But he was...
Maybe I shouldn't have went to go visit my mother.
He's such a liar, and so is she. Nothing but a bunch of little lies, and I'm so glad that they're out of my life.
Homemaker Horace Welch and his girlfriend, homemaker Lakeisha Webb, are suing their neighbor, home care worker Juanita Mack, for stealing a backpack that contained expensive rings. Juanita is countersuing for slander.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please. Yeah, this is case number 331 on the calendar in the matter of Walsh Webb versus Mack. President sworn in judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Mr. Walsh, for some reason which you will explain to me, you were visiting the defendant. You're a neighbor of hers?
Yes.
And you had with you a backpack.
Yes.
It's your claim that you left the backpack in her house and she refuses to give it back to you.
Yes.
And within that backpack, among other things, were your girlfriend's jewelry, rings and diamonds and valuables that you alleged that you were taking to be cleaned? Is that right?
Yes.
So you're suing her for $2,000, the return or value of the property. The defendant says she didn't know what devil you're talking about, that you came into her apartment to use her phone, you didn't leave anything there, and she's counterclaiming because she said you and your girlfriend have been going all over town calling her a thief, among other things. How long have you been her neighbor, Mr. Walsh?
For 7 months.
Okay, and how long have you been living there, Miss Mack?
Since '98.
Is this an apartment building?
Yes.
Now, on what date do you claim you were visiting Miss Mack?
This was like the 22nd. Well, prior to this incident, I visited her several times on different occasions.
Shh. What were you visiting her for?
We were just hanging out, talking, having drinks.
You were friends?
Yes.
Did you become friends before or after you moved in?
After.
You didn't know her before?
No.
So you've known her for about 7 months?
As a matter of fact, I've been seeing her for about 7 months. I've only known her for about, 2.5 months.
What do you mean you've been seeing her?
Seeing her as a neighbor, speaking to her as a neighbor.
Okay, but it's been 2.5 months that you've been going there occasionally and hanging out?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Talk to me.
On the 22nd, I was over her house. This was a Sunday.
22nd of?
September.
Go ahead.
It was a Sunday. I didn't know at the time that I had a warrant out for my arrest, which when I left her house, I got picked up on that warrant.
For what?
It was just something personal with me and my family. Something me and my family is going through.
Like what?
A domestic violence.
Okay. So you were arrested on the 22nd of September,
yes,
after you left her house?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, I left my things there.
This is the day that you allege that you left this backpack there?
My backpack and my CD bag as well, yes.
Let's go step by step. You went in to visit.
Yes.
How long did you stay?
I was there for several hours.
What were you doing?
We were just hanging out talking.
And then it was time for you to leave?
No, it wasn't time for me to leave. I told her I'd be back. I stepped out for a minute.
What did you step out for?
To go home.
To go home for what?
To go home and see my family, just to go home. I had seen my daughter and I was worried about her and I went home. But in the process of me going home...
Just a second.
Yes.
How old was your daughter?
17 months.
When you left your home, where was your daughter?
I never left home. I was always hanging out with her until I left. That's when I got arrested.
What do you mean you went to see about your daughter?
I went to go check on my daughter.
Who was with her?
Her mother.
The same mother that was having you arrested for domestic violence?
That one.
Raise your hand if that person is in the room today.
Right here. But I don't...
Keep going.
Okay,
Keep going, sir.
basically, I went to jail.
I'm not getting the whole story, and I want to tell you something. When I don't get the whole story, that is not a good thing for you. So let's go. You his wife?
No.
His girlfriend, the mother of his 17-month-old?
Yes.
You were having him arrested for domestic violence, is that right?
Yes.
He's next door hanging out with the neighbor, according to him, and in his possession is a backpack containing all your jewelry. Is that right?
Yes.
That you were taking to have cleaned.
Yes.
You understand what I mean when I'm not getting the whole story? Stupid isn't written here, sir.
I had already had...
Stupid is not written here.
Oh, God.
Keep going. I love it as we make it up as we go along. So you got the jewelry that's in the backpack that you're taking to have clean that belongs to your girlfriend who was in the process of calling the police to have you arrested. Keep going. Keep going. So you go and you check up on your 17-month-old daughter, and what happened? You got arrested.
I got arrested.
Next.
I called Juanita from jail and told her that I was arrested to give my things to my mother because I knew she wouldn't give them to her.
You knew she wouldn't give them to her?
I knew she wouldn't give them to my girlfriend.
Why not?
Because she told me she wouldn't.
What do you mean she told you she wouldn't?
She told me, I'm not giving nothing to her. I'll give it to your mother or your son or somebody else.
Why is that?
Because she didn't want to give it to her.
Why?
Judge, I don't know.
Because she was afraid I was going to find out what was going on between them two.
Oh.
Anyway.
Shh.
So my mom called her.
What were you doing with her jewelry?
Like I said, I was taking to get it clean. I had it for a couple of days in my backpack, though. Okay. All right.
Get it.
It was Judge.
Go ahead.
My mom called her, talked to her. My mom told me, yeah, she said she would be willing to meet me to give me your backpack. And so when my mom did finally get back with her, she started saying she didn't know what she was talking about. I've never been to her house before, and all this started coming up.
So, keep going.
So I went and did a small claims because, I mean, a lot of my personal things was in my backpack, which I'm taking a major loss on.
What were you doing in her house?
Like I said, we've been hanging out.
You've been hanging out. Have you been intimate with her?
No.
Well, she seems to think you've been intimate.
Well, of course she's going to think that.
Of course she's going to think that. You were just hanging out. Couldn't you find someplace else to hang out? Huh?
I mean, we had just moved out there. I don't know anyone.
They were having domestic violence problems, entertaining our neighbors in the community. On the 26th, me and Miss Webb had a verbal altercation. It was me, my daughter was out there, and this lady sitting here, and several other little kids.
What was the fight about?
Because she said that he gave me his backpack. One day, I say around mid-September, he did ask me if he could use my phone because he was locked out of their house. And I had seen him coming and going. I brought my phone out to the front porch and let him use the phone. He's never been inside my house, ma'am. The night before, when we had the altercation, me and her, the next morning, I get up to go to work. I work 2 jobs. My tires were slashed. Both our tires were slashed, both mine and Miss Webb's tires were slashed. And I have the police report right here. This is a log of my caller ID log from my phone, all the numerous of calls that I've been receiving from them, from her phone number, from the phone booth, and how many times the housing authority told me that if he can prove that I have their backpack, that he would evict me. So I'm worried about losing my housing because of a lie that he told this girl. And I had to have my phone number changed within 3 days of each other because of the calls from them.
Okay, now, Miss Webb, how long have you been with him?
5 years.
In the 5 years that you've been with him, how many times has he been in jail?
Twice.
When?
Ooh, a year ago.
For how long?
For a year.
For what?
Possession.
Of what?
Of controlled substance, marijuana.
I'll leave it with the possession of controlled substance, okay? That I believe.
Okay.
When else was he in jail?
And domestic violence.
What does he do for a living?
At the time, he's not working.
When was the last time he had a full-time job, 9 to 5?
A month ago.
And how long did he have that job for?
About 2 weeks.
When was the last time he held a job for more than 3 months, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday?
Right before he went to jail a year ago.
So how does he support himself? Want to tell me that?
He gets a check.
He gets a check from what?
From the state.
What's the nature of his disability?
That I don't know. Mental, I don't know. You have to ask him that why he get the check.
Yo, why do you get a check?
For a mental.
For what?
Just have problems, Your Honor. But I would like to say something.
Yeah.
I do have a surprise witness that will let you know.
I'm here.
That
I'm
will
ready.
let you know.
I'm ready.
That will let you know that we've been knowing each other for some time.
Fine. Bring in the witness.
Thank you.
The person's name?
My mom, Joan Walsh.
She had a conversation with her on the phone, and at the time they had a conversation, she said she will return her items. And at the...
Bring her in.
Walsh?
Your Honor.
Just a minute.
Oh, okay.
All right, Miss Seth.
Miss Walsh, how long do you know the defendant, Miss Mack?
I don't.
How many times have you met her?
Never.
Never seen her in person except for today?
Never.
Did you ever speak to her on the phone?
Yes, I did.
Who called whom?
She called me on the 18th of September and on the 22nd of September.
Okay, and what did she say to you on the 18th of September?
That she was a friend of my son's. She asked me, was he there? I asked her who was calling, because I'm the mother of 6 adult children. I don't answer any questions. And I asked who was calling. Oh, I'm a friend. I'm the one that he's been over my house. And at that time, she told me her name was Regina. And then the following Sunday when she called me, she said Regina again at first. But
Yes.
I let her know that I was speaking with my son on the other line. And she said, well, I just finished talking to him, and he wants me to give you his belongings. I said, what are the belongings? She told me 2 bags. And I said, okay. I said, well, can you call me back because I'm speaking with my son, and I don't know how long he can remain on the phone. And I spoke with him about 20 minutes. And when I hung up, no one else had called me, and I started 69 her back. And I let her know how I had called her. And I asked her when could we meet so I can get my son's belongings. And she told me she would call me back. And when I talked back with her, she told me that she didn't know nothing about it. That she didn't know him or anything. Was her words. Then a couple of days later, I had gotten her number, and I called her on the 25th. And I asked her...
Where did you get her number from?
From my son.
Well, I thought you said you star 69 the number.
That Sunday.
I understand that.
Yeah, that Sunday. But
Just a second, but I understand that. But that was a person who identified themselves as a person by the name of Regina.
I know, but when I clicked back over from my son...
Yes.
He told me who she was, and then I told her.
He told you, but she said, or the person who called you said their name was Regina.
I know. And
twice. Both times that the person called. Her name's not Regina.
I know, but what I'm saying is when I clicked back over to let my son know that she was on the other line, this is when he said, not Regina, Mom. He said, Juanita. And when I clicked back over, and she just said yes. And a couple of days later, she said, oh, Regina's my friend down the road or something, you know.
Did you speak to her on the phone?
No, ma'am. Never.
Judge Judy continues.
All